Okay, Sinadapi, Nistu Nidaniko, Makoyo Sokoyi. I coming to you live from Browntown, Montana. And just our humor, we always call it Browntown. Welcome to Native Wellness Institute's Power Hour. We're Wellness Wednesday. It's just that time of the week, and it's actually the time from heading towards June 20th and the solstice when we begin to. Native Wellness Institute likes to bring you a positive, productive, and proactive dialogue for the next hour. Native Wellness Institute, our mission is still the same. Since the 80s, 1980s, we're officially 24 years old with our team now, Native Wellness Institute. But Native Wellness Institute, we're just like, it's pretty simple. Our mission is to keep the teachings of our ancestors alive. And so the beautiful thing is anything under that umbrella that keeps the teachings of the ancestors alive, we get to do. So sometimes you'll see us playing indigenous games. Sometimes we'll be putting up teepees, butchering buffalo. Sometimes we'll even eat some hot fries, eh? Spice, anything Indians do. We'll eat a bologna sandwich. We'll just drink pot. Well, we don't drink pot. I don't drink pot. We'll just do all these Indian things. And now it's springtime, so there's a lot of humor around babies being born, calving, horses. There's everything spring is bringing out in spring. So we always tease around here. Okay, it's time to change partners, eh? And some, that's just their normal. They don't care if it's spring or not. They just change partners. But we say spring fever. What does that mean? So anyway, it's just a humor. So welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Uh, we today I wanted to share with you healing around acceptance of loss or acceptance of a loved one that has passed on, acceptance if you've changed careers since the pandemic, acceptance of our new, we everyone at the beginning of the pandemic, and that was just a little while ago. And remember, we're into something called post-traumatic growth. Put that in your thinking. Post-traumatic growth. And post-traumatic growth means when we've come through something like a pandemic, there might be some stages, and it's almost so think about it, it's almost like grief. We go through these stages, so we have to forgive everyone if they get stuck in some stages. Now, Indians, like there's Kubler-Ross with, grief, or like if you've been betrayed by someone, raise your hand. You go through a healing. And so sometimes the stages are denial, shock, bargaining, anger, depression, and acceptance. But Indians, they go through a few more stages of despair, rage, and we're speaking English, and I'm a practicing speaker, but we go through, it's a spiritual stage, and sometimes the English language is pitiful and handicapped because it can't explain. We go through it fluctuates, but we go through a spiritual growth when we have, and the only thing that can bring this spiritual growth is when our heart is broken. The only thing, it's when it could be loss, a death of someone you love, but it's when we go through this, when and it's a spiritual, when your heart is broken. And I like these when the hearts come out. When your heart is broken, shattered, I've been with families, and I predominantly do my work with women or LGBTQ. When your heart is shattered, the brokenness feels, and you know the symptoms. I think about it sometimes. In the old days, and I'll say the olden days, I witnessed the adults around me that their only coping was to drink alcohol. Now, some of the coping might be to use a little bit of fentanyl, Oxycontin, some Xanax. In the old days, it used to be Valium. Or, let's see, what's the other coping? Go to the casino and gamble your whole goddamn check. That's coping. Because your magical thinking might think you're going to win, eh? Anyway, I don't want to bust any. You know, if you're enjoying the casino, go ahead, do it. That's your choice. Enjoy it. But the spiritual, I know, it's like, how many, raise your hand if you know any rich Indians from gambling. Sheesh. Bless her heart. Bless her heart, Sharon Donaldson. Been gone about 20 years now. I remember when she won $260,000 on a nickel machine in California. And what it did, there was spiritual growth from it. Maybe I'll just give that example because I love that sister. Even though she's been gone 20 years, I always think of her kindness and her belief that we could heal. But when she hit that $260,000 on a nickel machine, and you can tell gambleholics are addiction because they're obsessed with winning, or they obsessed with telling the story over and over, or they're obsessed, you know, it just like, you know, how drinking will take us, how other addictions, they gotta be gambling all the time. So Sharon, and I'll just because I like how she was healing. When she won this money, she had an option of getting some of it every August. I think she got like $10,000. And then the rest was given to her, but she went into her gambling addiction, and that's a good healing story. So I'll put it in a short form. She maxed out all their credit cards. She just didn't pay the bills, just gambling, and her partner at the time, the family intervened. And the way that they intervened was she could not control the finances anymore. And I just came to visit, and I was doing some work. We were doing a Gona up in the hills in California, and when I came there, you know, she was humbled because she had to share this story with me. And I just go, that's beautiful. Your family loves you. Your family's taking over the finances. Your family's handling the credit cards. Your family's paying the bills until you get some healing around this gambling addiction. You know, because she was to the point of sneaking and hawking stuff so she could gamble. Yeah, when you're sneaking and hawking, some of us need to hawk all of our stuff. That is just so Indian. It's like, okay, what can we hawk today? What can we hawk today? We're so Indian. I just love it. And so then what happened was she started to heal. And all of her sisterhood, Joyce Gonzalez, all of it, you know, all around in the Butte County area, we all get to heal with her. And as she did her healing, part of her healing is she still got that $10,000 every August. Is she decided that she should do happy things. So she went to like Mexico, but the first time she got the money, she grabbed 3 other grandmas And so here's four grandmas telling their family, four grandmas telling their family that they're gonna head out, and they're going to Theda Newbreast's place because they so these four grandmas went on a vacation with this 10,000, just took the 10,000, and they came up to my place, and impromptu, just like showed up, four grandmas. And I say four grandmas because all their grandchildren, they'd never, they took care of everything. They took care of the house. They did the laundry. They did all the cooking. They, in addition to holding a job, they were these kind of grandmas, full-time job, and then the full-time job of taking care of the house. Indian grandmas, no problem. Indian grandmas could just do that. My hat's off to them. So they show up, and so I could spend some time with them showing them around. But I said, I have to finish. I was under some deadlines because they are impromptu. Four grandmas just show up in the house. And it was so funny because, I had bunk beds, big, they weren't full-size bunk beds, but that's where they said, no, we'll just sleep here. But we'd all have to help, four grandmas helping the one grandma climb up on the bunk bed. It was just so, anyway, but I remember them deciding to go river rafting. And they did, because what they did is these four grandmas went and did all the things that they wished they could do instead of just taking care of their family all the time. So they went river rafting and got their vests on and did all this, and they just had the greatest time screaming and river rafting. And they went down, and our, in this, it was summertime, but the rapids, it's like, it's like a rush, like adrenaline rush. So here's the three grandmas, because I wasn't with them. I was doing work, but when they'd come home at night, would either go out to eat or would cook together, and they were just like telling me how they went down the river, how they all got in the raft, and how they had to row and they had to follow directions, and how they got out. Well, and the funny thing was, for the next 3 days we were nursing bruises, grandma bruises from hitting stuff, grandma bruises on their legs, but they didn't care. They didn't care because they had done something. And that's, I guess some part of in healing. They didn't care because they got to do, and let's see, white people call it bucket list. Indians call it a happy list, eh? They got to go river rafting. And so I'm sharing that story because up until she passed away, every August she got that $10,000, and she would just head out and do something spontaneous. And she went to Mexico. She went to Hawaii. And so remember, when you're grieving, or when there's been betrayal, or there's been loss, and that's why, after this pandemic, do it. All that stuff we dreamt of during the pandemic. I see all my friends going to Europe. I see all my friends going, hiking the Himalayas. But the spiritual, I want to talk a little bit about the spiritual. We've this lateral forgiveness, lateral kindness, this lateral goodness this energy that you can give out in healing is something else you need to do. It's one of those, there's chapters in the healing, there's chapters in the healing. And in giving that lateral kindness or that lateral forgiveness, let's give a good example. You got to forgive all your exes. If you got 10 exes, or you got 9 exes, or you got 2 exes, and you know who you are, because like in Indian country, it's kind of funny, like everybody knows so-and-so used to be together. They might have even made a kid or two before they were so-and-so. If one of the things that helps in the healing is to forgive them and let it go. And It's amazing what spiritual help that gives you, even to just go over and shake their hand or give them a hug and say to them, you know, that was a really good lesson learning and a good time we had together when we were younger. But now I just want to say I just appreciate you as a person. I appreciate your life, and, you know, name some of their accomplishments. And I really wish that you go on and have a long, healthy life. Think about that. That's much better than just blocking and talking shit about them. I know, I see all this super. Oh, I blocked him and goddamn this and goddamn that, talking, you know, talk. That is so childish. So knock it off. So I wanted to just, so today, think about the things of this letting go. And I, you know, at 2 o'clock, we're Mountain Standard Time. One of our cherished elders, his name, and they're gonna be, the funerals today is Joseph Burt Rattler, born June 12th, 1937. And I, you know, I'm just holding this up because they don't make good men like that very often. I just, you know, I equivalent him with old voice Gerald Darren Cooper. They were from that old, they were not gentle, that laugh, that tease you, that help you, and even, you know, just like he knew all the old horse remedies. He knew how to break a tough, difficult horse. He knew how to train horses. He knew the spiritual love between a Netsitapi and Bonagamata, a horse. And among many, you know, just like that nature, when you, let's see, what do white people call it, a horse whisperer? My tears are kind of salty today. A horse whisperer. But Joseph Bird Rattler was a horse whisperer and a human whisperer. So, man, okay, so think about that for a moment. What if we all aspired post-pandemic to be a human whisperer? And when you're a human whisperer, just like with the horse, you have to be gentle. You have to learn their good habits and their bad habits and move them towards good habits. You know, you have to listen to them. So sometimes, in being a human whisperer, wow, what a privilege. What an awesome, healing, facilitative privilege to help humans. And sometimes our only, you know, as a human whisperer, like a horse whisperer, is to listen to their story. Not judge just listen to their story and the chapters in their life. They're going to be different stories when they were 20. They're going to be different stories when they tried a marriage. They're going to be different stories even if they stayed married all of those 50, 60 years. And start to look alike. Eh? You know, if you stay married for a long time, you look alike. Sheesh. Anyway, and then all your dogs start looking like you, your horses, pretty soon y'all look alike. No. Anyway, think about listening to people's story. And like my my mother, we're gonna have lunch. My two sisters are here, and it's a beautiful day because at her she'll be 86 in October, and she wanted to go to the wake, but she doesn't want to go to all of because it's hard to sit, and so we always honor her. So we all got ready just in case whatever she wanted to do, and so we're come here for lunch, and she's already over there, kissing everybody goodbye and telling us how what a great job they did with honoring his legacy, what a great job they did with all his photos, Joe Bird Rattler. And there was several pictures with Uncle Gerald because Joe was like, oh, I don't know, a police officer for 3 decades. He was head of agriculture. He just did, what he did was he had a people's job. And that's why he's a people horse whisperer. I just always, he associates me with Uncle Gerald. And so we would always just visit, and would be telling stories about the 64 flood and what he did. And Uncle Gerald saved people, Joe saved people. But then the ones that did die, they also saved their relatives by listening to their story. Even if they had to tell you 30 times and 40 times how they watched them drowned, how they watched them suffer before they died. They would listen to the story over and over because every time you tell the story, you heal. And then pretty soon you don't have to tell the story anymore. And then pretty soon you don't have to think about the story. So think just, if it's fresh, and if you have a fresh wound when someone's betrayed you, or there's been loss, or we've lost so many here. We have funerals very often. It's a res when you have funerals very often. So in that being that horse whisperer, let's just kind of concentrate on that for a minute. One of my good friends was named Ann Wilson Schaaf, and she did a lot on meditations for women who do too much. But she did this one. This was today's reading, and I'm just going to read it to you because it has a lot to do with blaming. Because this is a stage when you have loss, or you've been betrayed, or someone has hurt your heart, someone has broken your heart, broken your trust. So I usually don't read, but I just been reading this over and over. Okay, it's called Blame. Blame keeps wounds open. Only forgiveness heals. Blame keeps wounds open. So remember that. You never get to heal. So if you just want to go around bitching and complaining and blaming, blaming the council, blaming, that orange guy, or blaming the Republicans, whatever, the wound stays open. So I've been reading this. This is my third time. Part of our problem with blame is that we often use it as an endpoint when it should be, in fact, exist only at the beginning of a process. If at all, our tendency to blame others can be a red flag. Now remember that, a red flag that there is something going on that we need to look at. So for many of us, our knee-jerk reaction is to look at someone and to blame. You see it on social media. We even focus upon ourselves as a good blame object, blaming ourselves. Oh, God damn it, cussing, using harsh words to ourselves. Knock that off too. It says, hopefully we can soon see that the blame is irrelevant, and that the issue is not who or what to blame. The issue is to stop, and to see what we are feeling, and to see what we need. When we realize that we can focus on ourselves and see that often we move to blame when we were unsure of our feelings beneath and blame or what to do with them, then we can back off and see what we need. Only when we honor what we need will forgiveness follow. And so that's, some of today's Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Native Wellness Institute. My name's Theda Newbreast, Nistuni Doniko Mokoyo Sekoye. I want to just encourage you to do what self-care, that's okay. And I mean, just simple self-care, taking a bath by candlelight, going for a walk in the woods, or having extra time in the grocery store to buy the things that you need. Getting, acupuncture. I've been wanting to, I carry my stress here because I'm a recovering oldest child. And I thought, oh, it's kind of tight. Just taking care of self. So what does that mean? Like it might feel awkward at first, but self-care in wellness is so necessary because you can only take people as far as you have gone, and you can't give away what you don't have. So this self-care, and so I challenge all of you, some of you might watch this and jot down, you could bullet it, or you can say the self-care things that you're going to do. I always equivalent it to taking care of your vehicle. I just made an appointment. I'm going to try a new place to get my first oil change with War Pony. Because a War Pony, I want it to run good for at least 150,000, And I'm gonna put the miles. I have some plans. I have some happy plans of going up the mountain. And you're all invited. I'm gonna head over to Missoula on June 1st because it is Two-Spirit LGBTQ Pride Month, and they're opening in their brand new office in Missoula, Montana. So Dave and Steve Barrios and the staff and the team have invited me to come and do the blessing. And I just man, it's overwhelmed. They want me to bless the place. And so I've been getting prepared for that and what should be the blessing, so it's a safe place for Native Two-Spirit and their allies. And so, the self-care. So the self-care, I was just thinking, shit, I need to get my eyebrows waxed. That's self-care. I need to get my nails done. That's self-care. I need to get a pedicure. That's self-care. But I was, I was with a good 12-step friend of mine the other day, and she helped me with my other truck because I can't drive two trucks, and just taking it down to get serviced. And she goes, "Hey, let's just go to TJ Maxx." And I had forgotten during the pandemic that was one of I used to go with Cecilia Fire Thunder and Deb O'Rero. That was just like our sisterhood. We would go and get lost in the vortex going into TJ Maxx. So my friend Teresa said, "I want to stop by." And I go, "Okay, I'll go with you." An hour and a half later, and 3 bags of stuff later, her and I come out. But we were in the aisles, and I said, "I need self-care stuff." And she goes, "What do you get for self-care?" And I go, "Look at these candles." So I got like 5 ones that smelled like watermelon, ones that smelled like orange, ones that smelled like lavender. And then I just decided to buy all new underwear. So I got 15 pairs of new underwear. Woo! I mean, and then we went into, since the surgery, I said, I know I'm not really good like white women. And I said, I'm just saying that I didn't used to take care of my face. So there was like 3 rows of all the stuff that you could put on. So we were just looking at all of it, and you put this cream and you'll be more intelligent. You put this cream on, all your wishes will come true. It was so good. I was just like, wow. So then I thought, well, it's kind of like Indian medicine. I always, Teresa Tendoy always told me to put sage in my shoe. I had, May Tallow used to tell us, to clean off with balls of sage. There was all this, so then I had some sweetgrass, sweetgrass kind of oil rub. So when I go out, even though, this is self-care, you have it on. So if you see one of your bitchy relatives that just bitches and complain, go, bat, get away. Just so whenever anyway, I always think about, so because sometimes I give those relatives maybe 5 minutes of my time because I know they have to vent, so I let them vent. But then I notice lately when they're venting, I look into their eyes and in my telepathically, I just start praying, Hi, Austrapatapi. Please, please take care of my relative. Hi, Austrapatapi. Give them goodness in their heart. Let them live a long life. Let them have happiness and joy. It's their birthright to thrive and have joy. And I'll be doing that with my eyes. And I guess I'm doing it to myself right now. And I'll see, they'll catch themselves. And they'll get off that bitching and blaming ride that they're on. And they'll start to be human again. A human whisper. And I was just with Emily Salloway at the post office. I saw her, and she just retired, and she's 85. Worked in trauma all these years. I saw her, and I said, I spent extra time. That's the self-care. I just wanted to say that I loved her, that I appreciated her, how much she has taught me, and then that she's retiring. And, I got to say all the things, and then I listened. And then she got to share some of her life. Her daughter, say prayers, 4-stage cancer, takes care of her. She got to tell me that she's moving back home. Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful when Indians move back home. So we got to have this interaction, and that's that horse whisper time where you give someone your undivided attention and not just be busy. People that are busy are often spinning plates and they're not present. 20 things to do, rushing here and there. It's a heck of a way to live life. That's a hell of a way to live life. So in this self-care, what grounds you? Native Wellness Institute, where, again, we're getting really excited because we're having the 3rd annual Healing Together. I don't know, 300 or 400 Indians just coming together, and the most are clean and sober, and most are, working, you could vet them that they're working on wellness. They're not embezzling or telling bullshit lies all the time. They're truthful. They'll tell you what's going on. Anyway, we're all coming together, and so would invite you if you want to do some healing. Wellness Wednesday. It's just some thoughts, and I'm just visiting with you today about self-care. In this remaining time, and again, what does that self-care mean? I think self-care is to be surrounded by people who also do self-care. I was just noticing, see that dress in the back right there? My sister Lori, She's always sewed all my clothes. And she's transitioning because she just sewed 14 quilts. And she just sewed, I always bring her material. And she said, here, this is this Teton fabric you gave me. But this is the last thing I'm going to sew. So don't give me no more fabric. And so, I'm going to honor that. We're both, I'm 68. She can tell, she don't like to tell her age. But we're at a place where, man, that's been good enough, Lou. All my life you've been sewing my stuff. And it's okay if this is, so I thought, wow, that's going to be a special dress. I was going to tease her because we're just wicked black feet. I'll say, oh, good, I could be buried in that. that's, are you telling me it's time? I could be buried in that. Should I get a casket? I would look pretty good in my casket. And, anyway, that self-care surrounding, I this last yesterday morning I was thinking to myself, I've been listening to Mike Duncan on Native Dads Network, shoot, I think over 3 years straight. And I might miss once in a while, but then if I miss it, I just cue it up and I listen to it's like what you would call a podcast, but that's my self-care. And then I always text him because it's early in the morning, and he's my coworker, he's my brother, and he's taking a risk because he has a special friend named Robin, and it's kind of like I am his badass auntie. Sometimes I'll say, good morning, you awake, and then a couple times he goes, oh man, I wasn't, and then he gets on. He always looks good, but he just barely made his coffee and trying to wake up, but he talks the truth. And in self-care, you're transparent and you speak the truth, and you talk about the mistakes that you have made and what you learned, because it's okay to make mistakes, but just not like 90% of the time. As you mature, a few mistakes is okay, but talk the lessons you learned, and that helps other people. That indigenous wellness, that wisdom. It's good to share what you learned. One of and this is just, I know it's a spiritual thing. I found my 1987. This is my Grandpa Sam's remembrance card, and I want to read this for you again, because this was how Grandpa used to talk. This is my grandpa, and he was born 1900 when the berries were ripe. Monogamy, Sam Newbreast. He said, when I must leave you for a little while, please do not grieve and shed wild tears and hug your sorrow to you through the years, but start out bravely with a gallant smile, and for my sake and in my name live on and do all the things the same. Feed not your loneliness on empty days, but fill each waking hour with useful ways. Reach out your hand in comfort and in cheer, and I in turn will comfort you and hold you near. And never, never be afraid to die, for I am with you in the sky. And I can go back to 1987 because I had to help write Grandpa's eulogy. And I delivered the eulogy, and that I was so, now I say, wow, what an honor. I was just so much in grief at that moment to help all the cousins. We were writing the eulogy. Cookie, Maggie Katz, of course, Mom was there, and all of Aunt Melinda, all of Uncle Charlie, everyone was present. But I remember him, and so I always, I'm not afraid to die, because Grandpa said he'll be waiting in the sky. And I'm not, like when I was coming in, I was just staying in self-care is praying all the time. When you can't give, pray for that person. When you can't fix, pray for that person. And so when I was coming in, I was just saying prayers, but giving gratitude. Thank you for letting me live this long in recovery. Thank you, thank you for all of the relationships I have had with romantic and with coworkers. Thank you for an opportunity to bring some wisdom to a situation so that people could live better, so that people could live in harmony. And so as I was saying that, I thought, well, Grandpa, if I died right now, you'd be there. And then I started talking to my dad, like, Dad, if I died right now, you would be there. Then I'll out ski. Grandma Irene, you would be there. Aunt Stanikiwa, you would be there. And then now I know, because I can see Uncle Gerald and Joe Burt Rattler really just hugging it up, and their spirits are happy, and they're together, and there's no more pain. And they're probably looking, as some people would call heaven, we call it Big Sandy, the Sand Hills, and the Tsitapi. But as as they look down upon us, remember that they're there, and you can call them. Buksaput, Grandpa Sam, no gagimoket, no gaspumoket, pity me, help me. Call your ancestors and ask. Help me get the courage. Encourage me. Give me a sign so that I can go on and I can live a good life, and I can bring wellness to my family. I can bring honesty. I can bring this courage that we need to live in today's world. That I can bring that lateral kindness. That I can bring that lateral forgiveness. Help me. Help me, my ancestor, Akita Biwa. Help me. So I was just like, wow, coming in, and we always do what my mom says, because if she wanted to go and sit in the church on the hard benches, we're going to do it. She wants to go out by the gravesite. We're going to do it because we're her daughters. And the way we honor her is we do what she wants. We never try to control her. And even though we don't agree with some of her decisions, you do it anyway. You hear me? When your parent wants to do something, you better frickin' do it. Because then you don't have no regrets. There'll be no regrets. And you make your parent happy. Because shoot, they birthed you. Look at all what they put up with us. Changed our poop diapers. Put up with our teenage years when we knew everything. They've done all that. And it's time, just like with your mother and your father and your ancestors, you gotta buff up and get well, get sober, knock that shit off and become a well person and be their legacy. Be your ancestors' legacy. Do the good things they did. Repeat their words. I guess, some people say, are you happy all the time? I'm not happy all the time, but Joe Burt Rattler and Uncle Gerald, they laugh a lot and they smile. My mom's the same way. When she answers the phone, I go, hi, Mother Dearest. And she always laughs. And I laugh. Part of the legacy is to laugh, to enjoy, to find the golden gems within each situation, and good. And part of self-care is to laugh at yourself. For lately, I just been laughing like, oh my God, Theda, you're a basket case. No. Anyway, laugh at yourself and share your stories. Do the, I was laughing at myself when I was younger and thought I could control things. Man, I was just so naive, novice, eh? And we can't control a dang thing, you know. I was yesterday. I'll just kind of wind down. I had to mediate some healing yesterday, and I was just trying to push and mediate it so every person there could grow. And it's okay if some reacted, and it's okay if some accepted it. But that's so it was a tough day. But when I was praying and making a smudge, it's just like the smudge talks back to you. It just said, push hard. Some people are gonna have healing. Push hard. So I tried to stay that middle ground and just point out and open up the doors of communication. So I did that, and then I'm trying to, catch up on my invoices because I have another goal. This is my self-care. I've got to have some plumbing work done in my house. So I'm saving up money, and my nephews will do that. I'm one of those. I always hire Indians. Indians hire Indians. And sometimes it don't work out, but most of the time it does. Because you don't want your badass auntie mad at you, right? Anyway, I was all done, and I said to myself, this dusk, I'm going to go for a ride. And I had right when I got to go into the Sun Road, this is my self-care, and I had my tobacco. Right when I started up the road, there was just like this rainstorm that was just pushing through. And right when it went through, this giant rainbow, humongous rainbow just appeared. And I had to stop my truck and jump out and take a picture of this giant rainbow. And I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And with less than a minute, it just disappeared. And just as it disappeared, I looked over to the right, and I saw this sow grizzly bear with her 3 cubs. And nobody was around, just me, because, it's dusk, because I know that's when the animals, they were. So I lost track of time, more than a half hour. I just followed them slowly. And she was eating, and the 3 cubs would come over, and they were frolicking, rolling around, playing with each other, just like in that youngness and that safety. They were safe because they were in the wilderness. And so I just started praying for safety for all of us human beings, to have safety like that, where you can roll around on the grass, be with your mother, eat, enjoy, And so I just got mesmerized. And so here I am. And I was thinking to myself, who follows 4 grizzly bears? And they were pretty close, but I was in the war pony. I wasn't gonna, and I have a weapon, but I would never, last resort, just so But they just let me, and they looked at me, and they didn't. These grizzly bears just kept going, and it started getting dark, and I just said, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think I'm gonna wind down, because I'm gonna go have lunch with the woman who gave me life 68 years ago. And my sisters, remember your siblings. You can never divorce your siblings, so you better get along. And your adopted siblings, when you call them brother or sister, you got to get along. And when you do, because you know each other so well, you know how to be good to each other. Lateral kindness, lateral forgiveness. So with that, I thank you for coming to Wellness Wednesday. I ask special prayers. We're in a tribal election here. Got 58 people running for 5 positions. Pray for all 58 that they'll have a long, healthy life. They're brave. They're brave to run for tribal council. You are brave. So with that, pray for us. Pray for Joe Burrattler's family. Sincerely, I ask you. Because when you put them in the ground, that finality, and it's that when your heart is broken, then it's time to heal, and that healing, it breaks open, and your heart can love more. You can love more. Everyone around you can love more, and that's what heals us. It's plain and simple, is love. So that's my message I wanted to share with you. Native Wellness Institute. We're here every Wednesday. Positive, productive, and proactive dialogue to bring some harmony back to our world. So with that, I'll say, Kitakito Matsuno.